Big up, it's a Mike GLC, and you're watching the Celebration Chair.
You gave your honor, take a seat. Let's celebrate, it's time to speak. How you spent 10,000 hours. Now come and get your flowers. It's a celebration, and you're the guest of honor. It's a celebration. Now come and get your flowers.
What's going on, people? I go by the name of Jazzy Zonzolo, and tonight on the Celebration Chair, we honour a man whose name is cemented in UK music history. A true pioneer, a storyteller, and a poet of the streets. His words have resonated with a generation, painting vivid pictures of struggle, success, pain, and perseverance. From the golden era of UK rap to shaping the culture we see today, his authenticity has never wavered. He's collaborated with some of the biggest names, dropped timeless freestyles that still hit deep, and remained a figure of inspiration for those who came after him. But his journey is more than just music. It's about growth, resilience, and staying true to himself no matter the obstacles. Beyond the mic, he's been a mentor, a businessman, and a voice for the unheard. He's seen highs, faced the lows, and still stands as a testament to what it means to be real in an industry that often rewards the opposite. Tonight, we celebrate his contribution, his legacy, and his influence on the game. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for the one and only Mike GLC!
Well, I heard the voice echo, it's like you had a mic in there or something. Love. Humble.
Come on, my brother, man.
Humble.
How you doing, bro?
Can't complain.
Yeah, bro, it's nice to have you back, man. You know what I mean? I haven't seen you in like a while, bro.
Yeah.
Like, how long has it been now? Like 10, 15?
Longer than that.
Yeah, it's been mad.
Yeah, you said it was the N-Dubz video, innit?
N-Dubz video, bro. You know what I mean? It was a long time ago. You remember the little skit that I came down? I remember I came in with my Jay Weezy character.
Yeah, we were just saying it, innit? I just saying it, and like I said to a man, I remember because what was it? It was Dooku Man, innit?
Yeah, it was Dooku Man, yeah, Fearless
and I was providing,
Dappy.
yeah, and I was providing a gal and all. Like, it was my agency providing the gal. And I was getting pissed off as well, because gal were doing scenes they weren't supposed to be doing. I was getting annoyed, I remember. And you was filled with people. You was cracking joke and all that. But that's why I say Jazzy was the first, bro.
Nah.
The first man to go up in a crew, a bunch of man, and crack joke and no one laugh. He's Jazzy wants to be like, you're my... you're not on this, are you? But you know what the maddest thing is? That's the moment that made me like you.
Yeah.
And it was like, right, this kid's cold, you know, this kid's a good kid.
Nah,
and I remember just, no, I'm not on it, but.
Yeah. Nah, but do you know what it is? I think for me, when I definitely came into the game, I just felt like I was already around the man them, right? And for me, it was one of them ones where I was like, bro, sometimes like when I'm around the man them, behind closed doors, they're funny. Do you know what I'm saying? They're really funny.
And this is what people are seeing now, isn't it?
This is it. And everyone now is doing it. But at the time, it was rare. So.
But that's always been the way, innit? Like, I don't think, we laugh, innit, bro?
This is it.
We laugh and we cry, innit?
This is it.
That's always really been the way. And I think to embrace that as early as you did and to know that was going to work, you was the first of that wave, bro.
Nah, man, I appreciate it, my brother, man. Thank you, bro. What I've always wondered is, how was your childhood like, bro? Like, talk to me about, let's take it way back, bro, yeah? What was Mike GLC like just as a kid, childhood?
Truthfully?
Yeah.
I was in care from 6. My mum was sick. Apparently the care home I got sent to was it's called a behavioural unit for kids with behavioural problems.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my cousin always talked shit about it.
Yeah.
Because we thought it was a boarding school, but it wasn't. It definitely wasn't.
Yeah.
So I was there from 6. I was there from 6 to 13. In all truthful, I had quite a turbulent childhood, so to speak. No regrets, but yeah, it was. I was in a care home up north, so from 6 to 13, the care home was in the Lake District, but it was, like I said, it was for kids who kind of, their temperaments weren't too good and all that. And my mum was sick as well. Okay. So when my mum was sick, she died of cancer, obviously, when I was a few years after that. But
after that, sorry to hear that.
God bless her, she's there. We kind of got the budget to send me there, so I got sent there. And I was the only black kid there for about 4 years. But it was a learning. Though.
Yeah.
It was a learning. I never regret it, and it was the best thing for me ever, and it was brilliant. To be fair with you, me and my cousin went there. My brethren. Well, I call him my cousin, but he's my close brother, a guy called Kello from Tottenham. We went there together. We just held each other down for for years.
Throughout, yeah. And was Pops around at the time as well?
Right.
Yeah.
Nah, he weren't around. He popped up about 13.
Okay.
Because by that point they had actually taken me away from my mum. So he popped. If not, I would end up in the system.
Yeah.
100%. So he had to kind of pop up. So at 13 he popped up. But to this day, I think he only popped up for the check, if I'm honest, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
how. And how did you get the name Mike GLC?
That's my name.
Okay.
It was basically Michael Coombs was my name, Michael George. But George, the L was the lyrical, but the George was the symbolic. But George was from my uncle. My uncle got murdered just before I was born on Broadwater Farm. When you said the childhood thing, I think, fucking hell, he wants to get the violins out here.
Yeah. Nah, do you know what it is? Because like I said, like when me and you have like conversations, bro, like I've always realized that like, obviously there's a side that everybody sees, but then there's another side as well. So it's kind of like very interesting to kind of just see kind of like what's made you the man that you are today. Do you know what I mean?
So after my uncle passed, I kind of always held on to the George. And that was like the catalyst for me. So it was because I got his name after he died. I got the George. No one else ever had it. George Coombs was the last of it.
Yeah.
So I kind of held on to that. So the Michael George Coombs, the lyrical. So I've always been honoured with that. He got murdered about 2 years before I was born on Broadwater Farm. Actually, might be a little bit longer than that. So yeah, it was always meant something to me. in that sense.
Yeah. And with the GLC, so GLC, is it something that everybody else has now, like with the name, so kids as well?
Well, my son got it. So my son, he didn't get the George, obviously, because that was my uncle's name.
Yeah.
But he got the Coombs.
Okay.
And obviously my mum died. My uncle's gone. It was like, it meant a lot.
Yeah.
It meant a lot.
Yeah.
And it's weird you say that, because that's obviously, I always respect my bare mother for that, because she always did that.
Yeah, because that's a major thing, man. You know what I mean?
But he won't be doing no rapping, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
So he won't need it for no. He won't need no abbreviation.
Yeah.
He's got the whole thing.
Yeah,
you don't need no
yeah.
breakdown. You know that.
So talk to me about during this time now. So you're like about 13, right? When did music first come about?
So music, I always loved music. Music was one of the things that got me through the whole thing. The funny thing about it was the place was a unique place, and I've always thanked it for that. All the talents that I have to this day come from that place.
Yeah.
The place was, like I said, it was for kids that had problems, but they would nurture anything you did. So if you like running, they'd go to athletics club, they were going to pay for it. If you like doing drawings, my art teacher, and me and Mrs. was going through this the other day. Actually, it was kind of emotional. I found one of my artworks, and my old art teacher was a guy called Jerry Blood. And he's actually a famous artist. He painted the Tour de France painting where the bikes go out. He painted the national picture they got for nothing. But he was a famous artist. And where the school was, it was in like an old castle.
Okay.
It was very idyllic. Very idyllic. You can see scenes in my head now.
Yeah.
You know, big Roman windows and etc. And they kind of took fascination in this kid that could draw. So they taught me how to draw. They taught me I knew how to do everything from the age of 10. I could do charcoals, inks, paints. I could do everything from that age. And there was this fascination of, wow, this kid's quite talented. So anything I wanted to do,
you could just...
So the first ever record that I ever got my hands on was LA Cool J, I'm Bad.
Okay.
And I knew every fucking word.
Yeah.
We had this common room area. I used to bully the other kids so they couldn't come in there. No, because I've got to play the records.
Yeah.
I need to do all kind of rapping.
Yeah.
You can't come in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I used to play that. So it was today, and to get through them. And also, it's weird because when you're in a situation like that, where you're the only black kid there. I was the only black kid for a long time until Kello got there. The first black kid I see there was stamping on a guy's head.
Raw.
I said to him, what happened? He said, he called me a nigger.
It was done.
The story started.
Yeah.
We heard nigger every other day.
Yeah.
We'd punch someone in their face every other day for hearing the word nigger.
Yeah.
And the school never used to, like, it was like a cheat code. Like, why did you hit him, Coombs? He called me nigger. Oh, okay, fine. Go to bed. It was sweet. So it was balanced.
Yeah.
But it was a beautiful learning, I'll tell you that. Because what I learned was the same kids that called me a nigger when I got there were the same kids that would have fucked up for calling me a nigger by the time I left. So I learned a lot about people there. Hence today why we can maneuver through a bit differently. I learned what racism actually is, what it means. And then you can't sell me that, because I know that these white people saved my life.
Yeah.
And I know that they love me.
Yeah.
So you can't even sell me that part of it. So even my views on a lot of things today, people get that confused. I understand racism more than you could even imagine.
Yeah.
And we're talking early 80s, people who served in the war and all sorts, that I know loved me, and then some of them haven't even seen a black person in their life. That makes sense? So I actually experienced this in real time. They would nurture any talent you had, go do it. That's why I can do it. That's why, humbly, we still look the way we do today.
Yeah, come on.
I've been doing training and doing athletics and all that since I was 6.
Yeah.
Wake up in the morning, run for 2 miles. Sometimes burn down things on the way back. No, I just had a thought. Because there were some mad kids there. The kids had problems. Yeah. You had a lot of kids that had a lot of problems. They used to do stuff like burn shit down and stuff like that. But yeah, it was, so they would nurture any talent you had. So singing, rapping, anything you wanted, they would nurture it. And they would pay for it and they would buy you the records. And I always wanted to keep my identity of being black. So I had all the posters on my wall. I had all the NWAs. I can remember the weekend NWA dropped. This whole damn. I can remember the weekend it dropped, and I can remember when Public Enemy dropped their first album and walking down my dorm and then hitting the first white guy. I know, fucked, but I said sorry after, but it's Public Enemy. But like, that was my identity. Rap became an identity to me at the time, and I knew what I was going through at home. Does that make sense?
So you was talking about LL Cool J. That was kind of like the first record you heard, right?
I'm bad.
Yeah, I'm bad, yeah.
I rap quite like I can. I take a muscle by a man, put his face in the blood.
So let me ask you this. Do you remember your first rhyme? Like your first lyric?
Do you know, the funny thing is, I kind of do and I kind of don't. Because I actually had an uncle who raps. You see, like, people got this conception of British rap just started. It didn't. It was going on for years. It was a big underground circuit way back.
Yeah.
Silver Bullet, my brother's stepbrother Force. There were some real pioneers. And this is why I get pissed off a lot of the time. People forget these people and it jars me. But my uncle used to rap. Well, he's not my uncle, but he's like related to my dad somehow. But his name was MC Delirious. So I used to bust my little raps. And back then they actually used to rap in British accent. And I used to rap in a little American accent when I was like 12, 13. And I remember just having like freestyles, because I could just freestyle. And I could do that for years. So I never had like set raps, but I remember the first time that I done freestyles in front of like older guys, and older guys like, yo, just get this youth cold.
Yeah.
I can remember that, but I can't remember the first rap.
You can't remember the first lyric? Bro, I need to take it to a place where I feel like everybody knows you from, yeah? And I was a you at them times there, but brother, I remember one of my first times going to central London, bro, yeah? Foot Locker, yeah? You know already where I'm going with this, yeah? And I see this guy just shotting CDs. And brother, let me tell you something, yeah? Let me tell you something. For anyone who don't know this, yeah? Bro, you had 30 man, 40, 50, 60, it just kept going, t-shirts, everything,
them.
Bro.
Love to each and every one of them. So much love and respect to every last one
bro, of them. That, you had like a street team at a time.
My little brothers, I had a bunch of little brothers.
Bro.
Do you know what it was, bro? We're businessmen, innit? Formula's formula. I had one time to encapsulate the vibe to why that could be possible. Yeah. Because sometimes people think, oh, why would you do that? I had rude boys out there doing straight CDs. And one time, Time Out done an interview on me one time, and there was a quote they put in there, and it encapsulates everything. I used to say to the youths, if you come out with me, you make more than if you were selling weed, and a little less than if you were selling hard food. So I knew that if I can make them sell like £200-300 a day, they're good. Yeah. So it just kept on feeding. You couldn't tell a youth not to come out there. Yeah. It was designed for a certain type of youth. There's some youths don't want to, like I remember I got big up my brethren Dizzle, love my brethren Dizzle. And I remember one time we had a conversation. I'm saying, yo, get me some of your use. This is my brum brethren. I'm saying, yo, grab me some of your use. He said, man, you ain't gonna sell us fucking CDs, blood. I'm saying, like, how, blood? He said, blood, these lot are knuckleheads. And that was the truth of it. So I knew that the selling CDs was designed for a certain type of youth. A youth who didn't want to work a 9 to 5, but he didn't want to go out there and kill everyone. And he don't want to sell death. So that, and there's loads of those. So many. More you, because remember, we know that most of these lot are pretending. So we know really deep down, if they can go out, sell some CDs, meet some girls, be out with their brethren.
It's a life night. Yeah, cool. It's nice. It's nice.
So that's what it was we created. And as you remember, I had the office in Hatton Gardens.
Yeah.
And that was like base. We had Big Up Street Dreams, Cobalt, Cracker, Slimmers, Family Forever. We had the office in Hatton Gardens. Big office next to the Arsenal building. So we had a plush space, places that people, because that's what a lot of people didn't know. And I'd say this humbly, and I say it with love in my heart now, my biggest aim was make sure none of you were ever homeless. That was the first stop. If you're with me, you're never going to be homeless. I had a yard in Hendon that I used to keep for them. I had a 3-bedroom in Hendon. I used to make sure that anyone could be with, man. I could stay there. I used to make sure we had the office. So my thing was make sure you were never homeless and they're fed. From that, they, you know, half of those kids now fucking turn into Nino Brown on the bounce. Yeah. It is what it is. But at the time, I knew that give these kids something that they can do. And something which they can see a goal towards as well. Yeah. And at the time, I'll tell you the truth, at the time, remember, this is before streaming. The streaming hadn't kicked in. And I used to tell them it was coming. Like I say to them, like, listen, streaming's coming. And at the time, we were trying to work out how we can get these sales through the till. And I actually used to have like meetings with distributors, and they said, like, Mike, how can we do this all over the country at one time? And this is just before streaming kicked in. But I say to them, streaming's coming. But at that time, put it into comparison, Kalashnikov was the highest selling artist in the UK at that time. And and I had this as a meeting I had it with a man when he was asking me about the distribution. Because this is when a lot of companies start asking us to distribute their material. So Kalashnikov was the highest selling artist at the time. He'd done about 1,000, I think it was 1,000 in a weekend or 1,500. We was doing that in 2 hours. So like,
and that's just street team, yeah?
We was doing that in 2 hours. And we was doing it, remember, obviously, the formula I had was, anyway, I'm going into it a little bit, but like, yeah, because sometimes I want, because the reason this is, because a lot of the time people hear it and they say, oh, like, I want to make it understandable to why it worked. Yeah. Does this make sense? Yeah. And anyone that's coming from where we're coming from, show people they can feed themselves every day, enjoy their life, do something. And there wasn't no industry at the time. So I remember sitting in hotel rooms at the end of the day and saying, we made more today than the whole of the music industry did in one night. I thought this is where it was going to go.
What made you go through that route though? Like, because nobody was.
Because there wasn't nothing else. Yeah. Remember, streaming hadn't kicked in yet. So streaming didn't exist. Remember, like, music works in pulses, isn't it? I don't know if, like, music's driven on technology, not the other way around. Yeah. So it works in pulses, before, you had vinyl. When vinyl died, everything died. The margins changed. Yeah. Because obviously in the era of vinyl, you decide your price. Yeah. So that's where your margins were made. That dies. CDs come. Now finally we can make our own margins. Again, this is where the game's good. Now we can decide what our market is. People don't realize the day Apple said everything's £1, the music industry got given back to the majors. Yeah. But you didn't see it coming, so you didn't know when it was going to come. But that was the day it changed. When Apple said everything's now £1, all the margins got taken out of the game, CDs are now dead, vinyl's dead, it's got given back to the majors, and now we kick up to streaming. Something was going to come, but we didn't know what it was. So I'm like, at that time, I'm thinking, I don't know about you lot, but if we're on TV and we're famous, I'm outside. Yeah. Everyone's broke. Like, I know you lot are broke. Like, I know you lot are broke. So I'm saying, you lot are scared. Cool. Yeah. Now it adds to who we really are in real life. This is my point. So when we get into that era, a lot of people say, right, you're like the selling CDs. No, who we are in real life allows us
to do that.
To do what we're doing. Yeah. Does this make sense?
I just want to know, the fact that everybody, that I know that is kind of like around that age, knows that they've got a story about seeing you in, whether it's Central, whether it's Brum, whether it's wherever.
We were playing the same game. I always say to man, I was never playing the same. I don't. Where we had our office, people used to record upstairs. in small studios. Last time we saw each other, I'm running the agency.
Yeah.
I've never played this game. I've never had a record deal. I don't know about I don't play this game. If I didn't rap, I would have known, I wouldn't be, if I didn't act, like this is the only part of it I play, I rap. That's it.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I've got no connection to it. So if we're rapping, and now we're on TV, because I've come out of jail, Letter to My Girlfriend is a result, not a cause.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying to you? If I didn't have Letter to My Girlfriend in my arsenal, I wouldn't have Letter to My Girlfriend. If I didn't write that letter to my girlfriend, I wouldn't write that letter to my, you know what I'm saying? If I didn't, if I was in, you know what I'm saying? So everything's always a result. So, right, you look cool. Now I'm number one on Channel U every week. Now we know we can make some money out of this music thing. What we got to do? So I'm more in it like that. When Letter to My Girlfriend's out, I'm sitting down with my lot in the yard saying, right, I want to start up a record label. You know what I'm saying? Before that happens, I'm sitting down what people don't know, how I first actually got into music was through a guy that owned a telesales company.
Okay.
Before the whole Letter to My Girlfriend, before that, my real entry to music comes, so when I get to about 19, 20, I'm obviously, my mum dies, I'm in jail, my mum dies. So now I'm on wherever I'm on.
Yeah.
My brethrens, the ones that are left on road, they're with me. We've got this big plan of doing this music thing. I'm living this bubble of a dream. Remember, the music industry doesn't, there's no music industry.
There's nothing kind of moment,
So I'm sitting down with old heads, we're talking about, Mike, we got 150 for you, let's do this music thing. This is what's going on this time. I got a track with Lamar, we're going. I meet a guy that runs a telesales company, and a guy called Ush, big up Ush, he now travels around the world on a boat and builds things in places like Africa.
Come on.
Love this guy, the definition of free.
Yeah.
When some people that know how to make money as they please. Yeah. And that's why they realize it's worth fuck all.
Yeah.
He's one of those. So I met this guy, he owned a telesales company. His telesales company used to sell ink cartridges to companies. He would offer the buyers a gift. They would get the gift. They would big orders. I would see him sit down. I see one girl sit in one room and make him about £20,000 in 2 days. No, I'm saying 2 days, in 2 hours. In 2 days, they were turning like 50, 60K sometimes, like doing madnesses.
Madness.
Doing madnesses. So when I'm coming from where I'm coming from and I'm seeing a man do this, I'm saying, raw. This is how it works. Yeah. Like, he wants to set up a record label. He wants to do like some UK no limit madness. Like even to the point we're getting the same covers, like actual people that's doing no limit covers. He wanted to spend a bunch of money doing music, but I'm not really on that. And at the time I was running around with Sincere, so we got our own little kind of plot. This is where Sincere first gets his business acumen from.
Okay.
So I want to set up this other label, but I don't want to sign to him. I want to set up my own label. So at the time, there's no one getting signed. The only person that ever got signed at that time was probably Glamour Kid.
Okay.
This is how far back we're going. And I've just watched Glamour go mad because now he can't leave his yard, so we're not on all that. So there was never no formula to like how we're going to do it. But this guy saying he wants to splash a whole bunch of money at it. But I'm saying, okay, I want to set up companies. And I was going out with a girl. I was going out with a girl at the time that was a model. I don't know, you know the British girl that sent Tyrese mad? Tyrese has got a British wife, innit? He had a British girl that he had one of his babies for. I was going out with her at the time. She was a model. She was also a bit of...
Wait, what? The one that he was crying for?
One of the early ones, yeah. He's got the girl. not the last one. This is the first one he was crying for. Okay. But basically Tyrese may end up marrying her, but she's a little slug anyway. But like, no, I'm not being, but she's a little slug. Yeah. But like, he ended up... it sounds bad. Tyrese, I can tell you, Tyrese's first baby mother is a slug. Yeah. Like... So, no, bro.
We get it, bro.
I'm not even trying to diss him, but I'm not even trying to go mad with him. Like,
are you kidding me?
I'm really not trying to go mad with him. I remember a man phoned me one time and said, yo, my brother just phoned me from LA talking about Tyrese is in here like this. Listen, she fucked my mate after she fucked me and then fucked him. Anyway. But anyway, fuck all that. But anyway, I was going to this girl, so she was a model and she was a model for this guy. She'd done the Glamour Kid video. And then she went to set up her own agency. So I was like, all right, cool. We had a bit of money around me. So I'm like, all right, I'll invest into that. So when we met this guy who wants to invest into music, he said, well, we want an agency. So my first meeting, I don't know if you remember, see Old Street?
Yeah.
Where you got the subway?
Yeah.
This guy had the whole block.
Oh, raw.
See where the subway?
Yeah,
he had
yeah,
the whole
yeah,
block.
yeah.
And the one across the block as well. And another one around. He had half of Old Street. Bro.
Okay.
Let's put it into comparison. So I walked into his office, he said, and then I've turned around to him and said, my lot have agreed to give me 150. They've already given me like 30k the other day. He's like, fuck all that. I'll give you that over the space of a year. This office floor's yours. That staff member's yours. The agency you want.
Here you go.
It's on.
Yeah. And from there,
That's how I got
it's
into music.
showtime.
That's how I got into music. Like I said, at the time, Sim was around me, and that's how we got into it.
Let me ask you this, bro, yeah? At what point did you know that this is working now?
It was never working. That's the thing. It was never working.
Never?
No, the only time it was, that's what I'm saying. You asked me why we stood out and sold CDs?
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
When we became famous, U-Channel days, that was the only time. Like, it was never that, bro. I'll be honest with you. The early days of rap, I just wanted to tell you niggas how I was living.
Yeah, just flexing.
Like, I think, no,
I respect the honesty.
no, I think really, in the early, like,
Cheers, bro.
my first tune, the first tune I had that really bumped with it, I used to have a tune called They Call Me Mike.
Yeah.
And this was the tune that, like, I used to rap for my niggas, bro.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
literally, I used to rap for my niggas. Like, literally.
Yeah.
Like, remember, there's no music that's representing anything that we're coming from. I'm coming
course.
from, this is like Tottenham in the early 2000s,
Yeah.
late 90s. Like, there's nothing here. And so when I'm saying, yo, hopping off R1s and this is what this is what we want to hear. So I'm rapping more, I'm just more in the fact that I want to give some narration to this thing here.
Yeah.
Cause there's no narration. Like, I'm going to hip hop parties and having to dust off the bottles and all that.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
the promoters complain and saying the bikes are too loud. It's all mad. Like we spent 30 grand at the mobiles and all that. And like,
it's just
like there's nothing like this. Like you lot are signed and all that. It's crazy to us. So at the time, I just wanted to. It was just narrative.
Yeah.
Really, at the time, it wasn't until U-Channel
that it would change. Because, bro, I'm not gonna lie to you, yeah. So obviously, you know, I was at Channel U in that, and to see, I was out there, bro.
Love Darren. Love.
Shout out to Darren, man.
My dad.
Shout out
Maniac.
to Darren, bro. Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah,
people don't know Darren, like.
Yeah.
Maniac.
Yeah. He was on some madness. But you know what? He was a genius.
He was a beautiful guy.
Do you know what I'm saying? He was a
that
genius,
guy,
bro.
He knew who was who.
100%. That's definitely
And
something.
me and him used to have some real good combos.
Yeah.
He knew who was who. There was, I'll never forget one time sitting in his office, and he's flicking through the channels. He had box fizz as well.
Yeah.
And he sit there and goes to me, yo, Mike, U-Channel don't make me fuck all, you know, I'll tell you that much.
He used to say that to me. He used to say that to me.
He said it. He played box fizz, he's like, bro, this makes me all the fucking money.
Yeah.
U-Channel makes me fuck all.
Yeah.
But then, remember them times there, everyone's around, man.
Yeah.
So N-Dubz are around, man. Frontliners are around, man. Strong all these people around, man. So he's sitting there saying that, all these lot are yours, isn't they? Yeah. End up there. There you go. Yeah. He was just a fucking character. He was a good guy.
He was, bro.
I used to get them calls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Them calls.
Them calls. I thought he was a fucking gangster, mate.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, drop me out, mate.
Bro,
Beautiful
all the time. Listen, let's talk about the rise, the prime time mic, yeah? What was your coldest project, bro, that you think, like your coldest song? What's your...
I think, if I'm honest, that's why I've let myself down. I think that is the problem with my career.
Yeah.
Is I haven't focused enough on the body of work. And I think the only body of work I did focus on was when I done the Letter to My Girlfriend batch, and I big up Unknown. See, the best...
Letter to My Girlfriend was...
even that, if I wasn't coached into that, I wouldn't have made it.
Yeah.
That's the mad thing. I was a dick.
I think Letter to My Girlfriend is one of my favorites.
My problem is I was a dick. And...
Why?
Because what I could have done, I didn't, because I'm a dick. So like... But it's cool. I'm cool with this dick. I'm glad I actually was the dick I was. But like, you got to remember at the time. Like, let's take Letter to My. I mean, one time I was in the studio. A teacher's come in the studio. Yeah, we was in the studio. A teacher's up there in our office. Just to put it kind of comparison, how my mind was set. Even Letter to My Girlfriend time. The teacher's like, yo, mate, you must get big girl now that Letter to My Girlfriend things out, innit? And I'll never forget this. No, I don't know, bro. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And that was the mindset. I'm locked in. I don't care about none of this shit. I don't want to be no one's mate. I don't want to do no industry shit. I don't like none of you.
But you're still like that now, though.
Yeah, but understandably.
To a certain degree.
But I understand
that
this is, but it's all right.
Back then was a little
on
bit
steroids.
More,
They start on steroids.
Yeah.
I don't fuck with you niggas. I don't fuck with this shit. I don't agree with this shit. I don't even agree with how music gets sold in this country. I'm trying to do my own thing. You know, it's like I don't fuck with none of this shit. So that's why my trajectory right now looks how it looks.
Do you feel like if you was to do it again,
I would have been more. Yeah, I would have changed that as where I don't fuck with this shit, but I need to fuck with these parts.
Yeah, because you have to though.
But that's what we would have done. But
then,
but at the time, you are what you are.
Yeah, of course.
Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Because if I was anything different, then I wouldn't be who I am now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, but at the same, I guess at that time, through it, but then I had to be hardwired to do certain things. And what I should have done was give away and listen more. So for instance, when my first album, that was done by Unknown. Big up Unknown, love Unknown. And Unknown MC, if you know Unknown MC, that's Piper and Do You Really Like It? Love It, that's them lot. So what a lot of people don't know about them lot is they're actually hip hop, they're actually a rap act. And again, when people talk about the origins of UK rap, these niggas have got a hell of a lot to do with it. From Brixton, big them all up, Piper, Unknown MC. They was in a crew called Hijack. And Hijack got signed to Ice-T. Okay. So Ice-T took Hijack, signed them, took them around the world, and they learned how music works. That's why when they came back to England, they set up, they looked at UK, they looked at garage and turned into their version of hip hop. Hence, Do You Really Like It, Loving It Like This, good, that generation.
Yeah.
Piper, Sharky P, all that lot. So he heard a mixtape of mine. When I came out of jail, Dark and Cold filmed me coming out of jail. I don't know if you ever see it. I was the first person ever to do a DVD in period, Europe, in pop, rap, period. I was the first person ever to do
What's
a DVD.
that, a DVD? So you're the first person to do
a DVD. Like Dark and Cold done a DVD for me when DVD technology had literally just come out.
Okay.
So if you ever see that footage where I'm coming out of prison and I'm jumping in the limo with Sincere, that was the first time anyone had ever shot a DVD in this country.
Okay, okay.
So Dark and Cold had done that, and then that went around, that was going around, and then Unknowns heard that and saw that, and he offered me a bunch of money to record an album.
Mm.
And at the time, I wasn't even thinking, I just thought, you're really gonna give me this in cash?
Yeah,
now?
yeah.
So, all right, cool.
Mike was like, yeah, what now?
No, he turned up on my bridges, but he came to I was in Tottenham, he came to Tottenham.
Yeah.
Like, he came to Tottenham, I was at big up my bridge, not even big up my bridge, I'm my bridge in Sunheads. Bonfire, he turned up in Tottenham and fucking give me the money. So I'm like, all right, cool, I'll record the album, but I didn't see it for what it was, and he had a clear plan.
Okay.
So when he's doing things like Letter to My Girlfriend, I'm not even on all that.
Yeah.
La 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 la. I'm thinking, fuck this. Like, I didn't even. No, I was thinking, fuck this, because what happened was I came out of jail that night.
But the tune is hard,
no,
though.
but what it was, I wrote that in prison.
Yeah.
But I didn't even write. I originally wrote that to the Jaheim and Nas tune.
Okay.
If I don't make it home tonight.
Yeah.
That's how I originally wrote that in jail. I remember actually when I wrote that in jail, and then I literally come off the phone to my BMO. So when I've come out, I had it on a Fat Joe beat, and I actually performed it at DMX, and it went down. And I never forget this. Like, this is the times when no one didn't know your tunes, but you can still make a crowd go mad.
Yeah.
It went
off.
It went down.
Yeah.
People are all,
Yeah.
bruh. My brethren BG's on stage doing mental things, shining his gun and all kind of madness. Big up BG. So anyway, it's gone down. So I knew it was a tune. But he's heard these freestyles. He's got this thing about reusing lyrics. I'm like, no. That's long. We don't do that. He's like, no, we do that. No, we don't do it. We do that. So he's making me do all these things I don't want to do.
Yeah.
But to this day, they're my biggest songs.
Yeah. Oh, bro, 100%.
Letter to My Girlfriend, Beautiful Day, Story to Tell, all these songs. Yardie.
Yeah.
So if I would have listened to him more, and again, I was too hard-headed.
Yeah.
This is a guy who's had a UK #1 that he took off the #1 spot himself because it stayed there too long.
So just to put it into perspective, you would have done more projects.
I would have listened to him more as
Yeah.
well. I was too I'm an arse. I was an art, bro. You couldn't tell me nothing.
Yeah.
Like, it's and if you told me too much, it's gonna end with me shouting and doing something dumb. So I'm not worth the hassle.
Yeah.
So I can see there's certain decisions that I should have listened to, which he said, which I should have just said, yeah, all right, cool, I get you. Dig, I'm gonna wait. Rather than everything's go. You know, back then you want it now, and like, I'm outside
of course,
now.
yeah.
But basically, a lot of what it was, a lot of people I used to work with, because of the whole street CDs thing was such a ravenous environment. If you work with me, that's gonna be out for sale by like tomorrow. Like, I ain't got time to wait for your shit.
Yeah.
Like, we're selling these now.
Yeah.
Now selling these.
We just did the tune today.
It's out, it's sold now. It's in Brom, it's in Manny now. So a lot of my problem was that I had this ravenous thing, and I'm just out here just making. And what it was, I always kind of knew when we was doing that CD shit. I always said to people like, one of the things that's going to do, which I think it kind of worked, was keep man relevant. I said my shit's going to people's houses.
Yeah.
And this is before kind of channel. This is before YouTube even kicks in properly. Bro.
Yeah.
Just makes sense.
Yeah.
So I just didn't listen enough.
Yeah. All right. So we just finished now the Channel U era, and then we're now in an era where you got your businesses and stuff like that now, yeah? And there's a lot of people rolling with you. And now N-Dubz are rolling with you heavy. And then there's the situation with Tulisa.
That comes a little while after, for there.
Yeah.
N-Dubz were with us from Dubplate. Do you know the funny thing is, we even talk about Darren. I remember Darren said something to me one time. Darren's a camera. So like, he was pissed with MTV.
Oh, for real? Because
he used to look at it like, he said, this is exactly what he said, Bebe. He said, mate, MTV's taking a fucking piss, mate. Everyone on Dubplate Drama, they're from U Channel.
Yeah. It's true.
He wasn't wrong.
Yeah, it's true.
He wasn't wrong. So like...
But when weren't Dubplate Drama on Channel 4?
Yeah, Channel 4 and MTV, but MTV made it, innit? MTV made Dubplate. MTV made Dubplate.
You know what it is? I didn't have MTV, innit? So I didn't know. I just saw it on Channel 4 and I thought it was a Channel 4 show.
Yeah, they licensed it. Everyone licensed it everywhere, bro. Okay. We got any fucking money for licensing. No? Yeah. But anyway, I digress. So that's why I got N-Dubz kind of. And what it was, obviously, when we're shooting Dubplate, again, it's just a reality, innit? Like, I got, at the time, I had this little crib in Hendon. I don't even care. I had a little penny in Hendon. In fact, one of the scenes in Dubplate was shot in it. There's a scene, if you see a scene with Westwood in the car, that's actually the back of my yard. Okay. And where Tulisa and my man end up falling in love, that was in my yard. So I had this little penny spot in Hendon. And I used to kind of make everyone come there after filming. And I don't know if you ever see one of the Last of the Dying Breed video with Dappy and all that's in it. I shot that there. Okay. So we just kind of bringing them in. But what it was, bro, obviously I'm bringing the Brum youths down as well. So I've got like, big up my brother Old Dizzle, big up Grinch, big up Zimbo. I'm bringing them lot down at the same time, so they're with me at the time. Yeah. So when I'm shooting Dubplate, they're coming on set every day. So one day we followed them over to Reading, they're doing a show. And my nigga, I never seen no shit like this in my life. Yeah. Like, I just remember this isn't now, you know?
Yeah. This is back then.
And the funny thing is, I remember before I saw them, I used to have this thing in my head where I used to say, rah. Remember, I don't think people realize how sparse urban music was before U Channel. If he wasn't there, you wasn't there. You don't know.
You don't know.
You couldn't even imagine it. What you lot go through now, you couldn't even imagine the terrain. Yeah. Like you lot, we had to make this literally. So I remember I used to look at like something like say like I knew them not from S Club 7, for instance. Yeah. I knew the girl. I used to date one of the dancers. Like, so these are the urban things.
What's this, S Club 7? Yeah.
So I knew that lot. I used to provide. Remember, I provided models for. So back then, that's why I had the agency. So back them times there. I provided models for Liberty X, Jamiroquai, Beverly Knight, Gabrielle, all the Soul Solid videos. Proper, they were mine. Proper. The Heartless Crew video, Heartless. They were my models. In fact, I always big up Bushkin for that.
Shout out Bushkin.
He got me a big check before I went jail. Yeah. We actually planned that.
No, Shout out Bushkin. Shout out Bushkin. I was literally just chatting to him today.
Do you know what? Shout out Bushkin. Basically, I just say I've got the agency. I've said to Bush, yo, because it was kind of I really got so much gal in there. Yeah. It's kind of like a suggestion. Yeah. I said, yo, how much gal you want? I said, you know what? Yo, tell them come to me. Yeah. He's thinking. I'm thinking, because I know it's a proper, because remember, it's proper videos.
Of course, so it's a big budget as well.
Because a lot of the videos I supplied models for as well, I had to work third party because people thought it was clever. So I used to work third party for this woman called Jane Collins. She thought I was dumb, but she didn't realise that it leveled off. A woman called Jane Collins.
Oh, Jane Collins.
So she was like basically the biggest casting director at the time. She would open up her books and say like, where the fuck do you get these girls from? Clubland? Like, remember, well, it's not now. I have to keep on stressing it. Like, there's no way of finding, there's no social media.
Yeah, this is different. This is a whole different
setup. This is lifestyle on paper. This is lifestyle on paper for real. You know what I'm saying to you? Like I said, the first model I had off the bat, this is lifestyle on paper. So, well, we can sell this. Cool. So I've got the Bushkin, I told them, you want like bare gal, hundreds gal. Tell them. So I got a big budget for the video because they got that video was like a 300 grand budget.
Flipping
So
out.
I'm saying, yo. He said, yeah. So the production company's phoned me. He said, yeah, we got your number. And in her head, I can hear it in her voice.
Yeah.
She's thinking, there's no way you're filling this order.
Yeah.
Like, we got your number. Could you, Bushkin said you can provide the models. Yeah. In their head, they've already got another agency.
Yeah, they're thinking, cool. Yeah.
But I'm on some, and I used to do this thing where I used to take the registration at their first job. So enough of these girls are new.
Yeah.
So they haven't paid the registration. So the registrations were like 150 quid on top of my percentage of the work. So if I can pull this off, this is all coming home.
Yeah. You're laughing.
So I was
Christmas come early.
So they phoned me up. So Bushkin's like, yeah, my boy could do it. So they've gone, oh, could you provide, this is the part they thought I was going to flop. They've gone, oh, could you provide pictures of all the models before 3 o'clock? But bro, I've been grafting.
Yeah.
I've got books. I've got a little office in West End. I had an office in Tottenham Court Road for about 2 years. And back then I'm paying like, I don't know, about 3 bills for this office a week. But it's a box, literally smaller than this. But it's working. It's in Tottenham Court Road, opposite Dappys. It's working.
You want the address.
So I said, yeah, I can do that. So I've ran every picture I could find. And in my head, I'm just thinking, yo, every gal better turn up, you know.
Better turn up right now.
All of you, because I used to have parties as well. Like I used to have like parties like Emporium and all these other places. So I'm thinking, you lot have had a whale of a time off these parties. Yo, turn up.
Yeah.
I used to have cold party, Arts, Wes, Lambie.
Yeah, because you lot didn't even have WhatsApp and all of
but
them
we just had
things
parties.
We
just had parties. So like, I'm thinking to myself, yo, you lot better just show up for this here, because I've got your pictures on this desk. So then I pop up to the office, I pop out hundreds of pictures. And I remember the woman was looking at me like, okay, so they're gonna turn up. Yeah, just send the money. That check set me up, bro. I went jail a couple months after, I came home, still had money.
Jeez.
So them times there, if that's what you're talking about, that's the before times.
That's before.
This is all before.
Wait, do you know what? Round of applause for Bushkin. Hey, Bushkin! My guy. Real.
No, but you know what though? I think he's a bit pissed. I think I was supposed to cut him. No, he did say something about Jim Bush. I went jail, I went jail, it went mad, I come home, I love you forever. No, I think I was supposed to cut them.
Okay.
But it went a bit...
It went a bit left.
But it saved my life, Bush, you know
Come on. So, with all of this, what actually, like, you had the whole incident with the Tulisa thing, yeah?
So so my point to N-Dubz, we trailed off. But so when we first see N-Dubz, the reason I got into all that shit is because I used to look at these acts and think to myself, if we had an act that was just a bit more street.
Yeah.
So I look at the S Club 7s, look at the
they're a bit too
Blazing
commercial
Squad.
And stuff, yeah.
So my point was, it was Blazing Squad I looked at. And funny enough, they was managed by the same set of people.
Okay.
That makes sense. So I used to look at them and think like, yo, if they had a more like urban version of them. And when I saw the first time, so me, Dizzle, Grinch, and all them, and I can't remember, but we all went to the show with them, we followed them to a show. And bro, what I saw, I'd never seen before in this country.
Was this N-Dubz, yeah? Yeah.
And this is before they signed.
Yeah.
When I first saw that, I had never seen no shit like this. Me and Dizzles looked at each other like, what the fuck is this, blood? Like there's kids going mad, Dappys 99.
Yeah. Tulisa.
Tulisa don't even like me these but this one I realised it was gangster. Tulisa don't even like me these times.
Okay.
Tulisa is the bitch. She's the like what he's not doing on stage.
Yeah.
Like she can't believe there's niggas on stage now.
Yeah.
Anyway, but what I saw was to the point where I remember having to put Phaser under one arm, Dappy under the other arm, so kids can't get to them.
Yeah.
Tulisa's being held down by Dizzle over there. And I never forget this, and I never ever forget this. I never forget that Dad said to me, the dad said, Mike GLC, I've always liked you. I've always heard good stuff about you. And I'm glad you're around my kids. And I never forgot that. Yeah. That was not the last thing he ever said to me, but not far from.
Yeah.
And then obviously, so I'm around them from there. So when you see me around them in the early days, like U-Channel days, I actually give a fuck about these fuckers.
I didn't know it was that. I didn't know that the timeline was that.
Around them. Me and Baker's around them. I don't know if you know Baker.
Yeah. Come on, shout Baker. Shout Baker.
You don't come outside a lot. He goes jail way too much for firearms, but he's
Baker. Yeah.
That's my right hand for Baker. Mizak and Rizak Baker. So we're keeping them sweet.
Okay.
You remember Baker had the tune with Dappy?
Yeah,
that was a love for the feds.
Yeah, big
so
tune.
we're keeping them.
Nice.
Obviously, they got their little ones around, and I don't think they even knew to the extent that they was good. T realized later, hence why we end up back there.
Okay.
So those years kind of go on. I think, and I learned a lot, and I saw a lot being around them in the sense of like what's actually happening industry wise.
So when you're around them, like, are you part of like management, or are you just around them on some just
Early days. Do you know the funny thing? Dappy was always trying to rope man into something. But I've got the agency in the business. You know the funny thing, I remember Dappy once turned around to me and said, like, yo, Dux, how the fuck do you keep an office running in Central? How the fuck do you do this? And I turned around and said, bro, there's no arbitraries, this thing's dead. Like, we ain't you. So just by being around what they was around at the time worked for me. I didn't really need more than that.
Yeah.
They was sliding me, why for that? They was...
No, yeah, come on, I get it.
Big up my brother Spizze.
Yeah.
They was keeping me in places which no one went in, bro. They're keeping me in rooms people ain't in. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Like at the time, when we were around them times, Def Jam was trying to sign them.
Yeah.
I'm almost living with Dappy, and we got this spot in there, so it's just being present in an area. Because it's like you're looking at the urban industry and saying, right, you lot are still fucking out in Westwood to get on the show. These lot, this is the formula. This is
their
working.
whole setup has been different. Like even when I was at Channel U, bro, like we did a show, I think at the O2. I think they were headlining.
Yeah,
it was like a
Channel U days. Even Channel U days.
Channel U, yeah. So I was hosting on that one.
Chung Fam as well had it. Big up Chung Fam.
Yeah, shout out to Chung Fam. I love them, man.
They had it big.
They're proper sick. Well. Yeah. So I remember I did a show where I came on, and obviously like people were gassed over me and whatever it is. So I was gassed. This is my first time. I was like, oh my days. I had like 6 different change of outfits. I was thinking I was the man.
I remember that Channel U.
Yeah. But then N-Dubz came and they showed different levels.
Yeah.
Their levels were different.
It was different.
Bro, people were just running and all of that.
Bro, they was truly anointed in a sense of like who their uncles were, who their dads were. It was meant to be. They was, so that's why I didn't mind standing with them.
Yeah.
Because for me, this wasn't a gimmick. They were truly this. And as much as you might think this little white boy's a prick, he's actually not.
Yeah.
And
who's that? Dappy?
Yeah.
No, Dappy's a cool.
But that was kind of the vibe, you know what I'm saying?
To the public.
Yeah, no, he's actually and you know what? He's with this.
Yeah.
So it's whatever.
Yeah.
So even when you see you get all the Brom youths around, how do you think he gets all the Brom youths around? This is how he gets them all around him. So it was kind of just that. So what happened was, and this is why I always give T like. So then we kind of part ways. Dappy pissed me off, if I'm honest, because what happened was, he would always try to book shows away from the management because they weren't getting, the thing was they wasn't getting no money. You know this.
Yeah.
They weren't getting no money. So Dappy done this thing where he kept on trying to book shows away from management. But he would come to me and say, Mike, book the shows for me. And me and Dark and Cole booked a whole, basically it was everyone but Tulisa.
Yeah.
So he say, Mike, we can do everything but Tulisa. So it's basically me and Mazer will come, book the shows.
But why not Tulisa?
Because obviously he was behind the back door.
Oh, so she'll shut it down. She'll shut it down.
Yeah, back then T wasn't, like, where T got to, she was destined to go to.
Yeah.
Like,
the female boss that she was
annoying,
serious.
bro. She was annoying.
Yeah.
So like, he's trying to book these shows away from everyone. So he's come to me and he's even giving me, like, I've done a show with Shaka booked one. There was a few, so he's giving me a few details for a couple promoters and said, yo, Mike's. But basically what he's trying to do is make me a scapegoat to get this money.
Yeah.
Because they ain't got no money.
Yeah. And at this point where you're saying that they're not making peas, whereabouts are they at this point? Is this still Channel U, like kind of like heavy?
No, this is kind of when, this is Def Jam times.
Oh, this is Def Jam, like after all of that, yeah?
This is Def Jam times.
Was this the time when they were doing the Channel 4 documentary?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was in the yard with them when that's on, bro.
Yeah.
I'm there with them. So this is Def Jam time. So when that's happening, they're like, he's trying to get money away from you. But they was getting ripped off by every which way. Like even them times they had a driver called Mark. Mark was always around. And this is why I had a bit of love for them, because a lot of people around them knew it wasn't in their benefit to keep me around. And the funny, when we done the Dukaman video, I was near enough at living with Dappy them times there.
Okay.
So like, a lot of people around them knew it wasn't in their benefit to keep man around. But I wasn't really imposing myself like that. But I could see everything that was happening though. So I'm even seeing when Mark's knocking them, Mark sold the story. That week, funny enough, when we was on the document shoot, the story came out in the Sun. Do you remember?
What was that?
Of something to do with Dappy.
What,
on that very shoot, I remember reading it on that shoot.
Oh yes, yeah.
That turned out to be Mark. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So like all of that was going on.
That was his own team.
That was his own team. So all that was going on. So I'm preying bare things, and there's not too much I can really say and do, innit? Because there's nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
And I don't really got that weight like that. But they never had no money. So Dappy's come to me and say, yo, book these shows. I'm thinking, yeah, cool. And I did do nothing out of money. I didn't need the money. I got more money than them at the time. So like, I'm saying, all right, cool. So me and Dark and Cole get on a little mission. So Dark and Cole end up booking about 300 grand's worth of shows, bro. Off the strength of what he's just told me. So we do that. There's a couple shows that he had already, that he produced, promoters that he could give me the numbers to, and he did. And that only comes to about 20 grand. But and then after, when it went pear-shaped, he blamed me. Now, the only reason I was even doing this for him, I luckily waiting for the money.
Yeah, of course.
Because he was supposed to provide me 2 hits, but 2 songs. And them times there at the time, if Dappy jumps on the hook,
Dappy, it's a rap.
So all you were supposed to do is provide 2 hits. And all I had to do was find the beat. So he pissed me off about that because I found the beat, and then something else. I was working with Affix at the time when he was working with Colin and them. And again, that's I get into little, every time I got into little industry pockets, I'm like, fuck this shit. Fuck, I can't do this. So then he was going to give me a single, and he didn't. And then it just pissed me off, and then I fucked him off. But this is why I got respect for T in that sense, because about 2 years after, when T starts really climbing the ladder, so after she has that sex tape, she phones me out of the blue, out of nowhere. Hadn't spoken to her for about 2 years. She's hit me up on Instagram, and this is at a peak.
Yeah.
She hit me up on Instagram like, Mike, what's your number? Phone me. And this was the real, and if to a lot of people don't understand why she had that loyalty from me. Because what she did this day was one of the realest things anyone's ever done. Because I don't know, I know man that got 20 quid more than they had last week, and I can't, all of a sudden they're being rude. Yeah? So make a gal reach the pinnacle of her career, and then look back and say, yo, who was real? And everyone I've known in my life, who was the realest? Because I know who I am. So the fact Mike, you know what? And she phoned me out the blue, and I remember I was like, it's big up OG. She phoned me out the blue, and she's like, Max, out of everyone, she says that word, everyone that's ever been around, man, you're the only one that was actually real. Because everything they had was kind of off. Every bit of being safe, a lot of it was, like I said, all them Brom youths, Dappy's running around with. This is why Dappy thinks he needs 100 youths. And that's when he started to get a bit, he's around there with the Hackney youths now. Because this is his thing, and he thinks he's done the maths. Nah. We just need Mike. Because it was always like that. See what I'm saying to you? When I was around them, there was regime. They didn't need 100 youths.
There's structure.
There's regime. Logistics. These youths are safe. They're governed. There's no problem here. Because this is my people. And that's the bottom line. If something happens to me, if something happens to them, happens to me. Bro, I was in situations with Dappy one time. He come to my office one time in Central. And everyone could vouch for this. Big up Prince, big up all them, man. And this is, well, if I'm loyal to you, I'm loyal to you. That's it, end of the day. And if everyone with me is loyal to me, then it is what it is. I don't do gang. I don't do none of that shit. I do loyal to me and mine. And
but you've always been like that,
does it make sense?
Yeah.
And they got that in full. You see it? So, bro, there was a time, I remember one time being in the gym. I'm in Finchley. I used to have an office in Finchley. Dappy's turned up out of the blue. He used to do dickhead shit like this, like put everyone else's life in danger so he can be cool. You know him for that. So he's turned up I'm in Finchley. He's turned up in the gym.
He's turned up.
He's turned up at the gym. I'm hearing on the Tanai. Michael Coon's come to Dappy's here. I'm thinking, this is you here. This is Finchley, you know?
Yeah.
Bro, about 10 minutes later, there's like 100 wolves outside. I'm thinking, this fucking guy, he's got his chains on and all sorts. There's 100 youths out there. I'm having to put on that mindset of today's the last day. you know when today's the last day?
Yeah.
Like, however this goes, today's probably the last day. So let's do this with style. I'm patting down youths. Don't move from it. Like, I'm going mad. Dappy's making it worse.
Yeah.
He's not helping. He's realised he's making it worse. That's what Dappy. That's the kind of shit he used to do. Innit? But T wasn't like that. T used to see kind of things for what they were. So she's thrown me out the blue, and she's kind of like, Mike, we're going out tonight. I want to show you something. I brought my brethren out of me, OG. I'd never gone out and been in the middle of every paper in the country before.
Yeah, that was crazy because I saw that. I was like, yo, it's mad.
She said, watch what happens. Bro, I can't remember, it's Rose, isn't it? Bro, when you're smoking weed in the kitchen in Rose and it's all mad, like this is the new life now. She's saying, Mike, this is the new life. Guess what we're gonna do at the bar? Would you, like, she's taking a piss with, like, cool, this is what we're doing now? Police are giving us back spliffs and all that. This is mad.
Yeah, mad.
I'm seeing police, like, I've been with T and police are giving me back my spliff.
Mad.
The man not got a license, but he's hopped back in. Cool, just sort out when you get up there.
Yeah.
She's showing me something which is mad and she's giving me keys. This is what's happening at the time. That's what people don't know. She's on to my, yo, key, you got the keys. You run them lot now. You do that. Danny's down here. You look after Danny. You want a security firm? Put them man around him. You want to start up a sports agency? Danny's got you. You want to write scripts? Got you. She's even said she's gonna. How I end up in the situation there we're gonna get to is I was writing a script at the time, a remake of Oliver Twist. Hence why I got the whole of Oliver Twist concept now. I was writing a remake of Oliver Twist, and she had agreed to play Nancy, so we're pitching for it. And I was working with a guy called Lucinda Rowe. You know, Lucinda used to do Cave Girl, Harry and Kosh. But I'm working with Lucinda Rowe. I've written it. Lucinda's gonna pitch it. She's agreed to play Nancy. So Tulisa at the time, we're gonna get the money, bro. We're gonna get the money. That's why that's how we end up in the situation with the producer.
Okay.
So when he's on her line.
So this producer's not a real producer?
No, he was never a real producer.
Oh my Lord.
So basically, cut a long story short, after them kind of period of time, I'm around her for a minute now, to the point where I'm living in the house that she's got. I'm living there. And you can't tell me nothing, bro. At the time.
Yeah.
Okay, calling me by, okay, mention me now, my first name.
Yeah.
Bro, you lot keep rapping.
Yeah.
It's how I'm feeling. Does that make sense? And you believe it, innit? To the point, so when we ended up going Marbella, I remember sitting in the house and the day we were going Marbella, turned around to me saying, right, Mike, that script that we've written, we're going to get the money for that. This film that I'm doing, I'm going to get the money for that. But I remember her showing me her emails from X Factor saying, fuck these lot, I'm not going back. Like, that's the thing about, at the time, she was fun.
Yeah.
Because you know, T, she was anti, and she was like, right, one of us is really here.
Yeah.
Like, really in this space, moving. She's supposed to be presenting the award. She wants to be playing pool with us. Like, we're here now.
Yeah.
We've got someone that we can actually maneuver in the right way in these corridors. Cole, go. Wait till what I do with this fight.
Yeah, showtime.
Does that make sense? And she's playing along. Like, bro, me and T was sitting in the car and I remember and it's because obviously we'd be sitting in the car. I'll never forget this. One time we got in Hattons and it was these two jewelers. I can't remember who they were. These two jewelers. And they're chatting bare shit, like, yo, T, we make you anything. Da-da-da. Like, there's 20, what, he done one for 20? I'll do it for 30. Like, he's doing all the shit. He's looking at me like, you want that? And that was the relationship.
Yeah.
She don't want it, because she don't want to take no 40 bag chain off no fucking jeweler. She think it's not, you know, she's looking.
Yeah, you want there.
Yeah, so what do you say? We put more like we're playing. Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking,
So at this point now, you lot, this is like the time now where you get bagged, right?
No, so basically leading towards that, when we come back from Marbs, basically she's had the meeting with the geezer before that. So before we go Marbs, the geezer, he worked brain basically. He turned around to her and said, listen, he's gonna fly out the country and he's gonna come back on Monday. But we need this geezer to sign off some money. In our heads is what we're thinking. So we're thinking, yo, there was $1 million that was supposed to be signed off. And she wants him to sign off for this $1 million. It was like the down payment. But he's saying he's got to go somewhere and come back. But we're thinking, no, we need to keep him in London. So if you can get what you're going to Amsterdam for, because he's saying he's going to Amsterdam to have fun. So if we're thinking, I think it was Amsterdam, he said. He's saying, if you can stay here and get what you're getting, can you sign that shit? Is where she's thinking. And that's how she's appealed to me in that appeal. Like, Mike, I just want him to stay here. So he signs his shit so we can get this money. We're good. All right, cool, no problem. So I grab it, come back, and you saw it was on the camera.
Yeah.
Do the deed. Fuck it off. Go Marbella. Get back from Marbella. She phones me. Mike, he wasn't a producer.
Shit.
We're going to be in every newspaper in the country within the next hour or so. Then it starts. Now, that's not really where the problem starts for me. I don't really mind it. Up until that point, it is what it is. It's really, her team caused me more damage than anything. The way they handled it after that is what.
But is that basically based on the fact that they're just trying to protect her, innit? They don't really care necessarily about you. That
Yeah,
she's
obviously,
the money, she's the cash cow.
But what it was is that even after, so basically the only reason it collapsed, and I've said this before, but I think I don't know if people understood how that worked. So we're going through the trial, and I'm getting back the paperwork. I'm saying, so obviously her claim is it's nothing to do with her. Her claim is she thought that me and her was good, that she'd only said to him about strippers or some shit. Her whole thing was whatever Mike and Mahmood spoke about, I don't know about.
Oh.
Yeah?
Okay.
Cool. But all this time this is going on, no one's phoning me. No one's even phoning, because obviously, man, bro, I'll play the game if the game, I can get paid at the end of it. Look after my shit, and I'll take the, come on.
So not even from her.
No one's even doing that.
So throughout this trial, you can't even
And what it is,
communicate.
they're paying for my lawyer. So at the time, I don't know if she didn't have no money at the time. So I think Simon Cowell was paying for my lawyer. But like,
wait, so this is X Factor times,
yeah,
and so the P's ain't.
she ain't got no money. But one thing about T, yeah, T, all of them live beyond their means, bro. The yard, she's paying like this yard, £7 million house. So she's paying, I can't remember what the mortgage was a month. Like she doesn't live within a, remember, and that's one thing I learned about being up there, bro. And that's one thing I will always thank God for that, is learning something. I always learned that, you know, the D-listers want to be the C-listers, C-listers want to be the B-listers, B-listers want to be A-listers, A-listers want to be fucking athletes. Like, it's all bollocks.
Yeah.
None of them are ever going to be content with where they're at. And they're always going to spend more than they own. And I'd see that girl living in a £7 million mansion that had no cleaner, bro. There'd be shit all over the fucking house. Like, it just, the way they live just doesn't make sense in the fact, so they've never got enough money for the lifestyle they want, so they've never got no money by the time it comes back around. So that's where she kind of was with it all. And I guess she's probably still there now, probably. So you see that things can always sway them to do something which shouldn't be done the way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So T's always going to be phallus of that. And I think that's personally why her career is always going to kind of end up where it does.
Can I ask you a question? So obviously all that happens and then there's the final verdict. You're good, yeah?
No, it didn't go that simple.
No.
At all. So they're going to throw me under the bus, basically. And they turn around to me and say, she's going to throw you under the bus. And this is, I said this on Spray Show, I think. And I've said it to the publicly. But I don't think people get this clear in their head. And I think if actual, like, because like, even when I see her going in the jungle the other day, obviously my phone's gone mad and I see her do that whole thing where she's explaining this bollocks. And I think if anyone ever actually grasped what I'm saying to them, especially the mainstream, they would rip her apart, bro. They would have to rip her apart. Because the fact is, she was going to throw me under the bus. Their whole plan was to just blame it all on me. Even though she was the one that set up the deal for that reason. So when they're going to blame it all on me, they turn around to me and say, she's gonna go against you. What are you going to do? I said, nothing. I'm going to go guilty. I'm not going to fight her. I'm saying I'm in the room out of loyalty. That's what I'm
When you say go against you, as in testify against
So basically, if I go against her, they said to me I can go home. That's exactly, like, so basically in a sense.
So you kept it true and said, no, I'm good.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Like, we're not doing that. I never remember my brethren said something to me. We're just go sweet. Yo, because they said, they didn't even put it like that. They said, yo, she's going to blame it on you.
So when you wait, she was going to testify to you in your face to face and like be like, yeah.
That was her statement. I saw her statement on that day. Her statement was she had nothing to do with it. Mahmood and Mike made their own decisions. That's her statement.
Damn.
So, and that's obviously what she would have said on the stand.
Yeah.
But she never actually gets there for this reason. And this is why people always think that case collapsed because she was innocent. It didn't. It collapsed because of me. When they say to me that she's gonna do this, go against her and you'll go home. Go against her, we're gonna go home. I say, I'm not going against her. We're not doing that. Because I'm saying I'm in that room out of loyalty.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And we don't even trust the law like that. You know, like that, like, you're a dickhead. And even the way they're saying it to me is like, well, you know, you're not going to be nothing bad, you're just denying it. I'm saying, bro, that sounds like snitching. So like, nah, we ain't doing that. But in my head, I'm thinking she's going to do the right thing because I'm still going to go guilty. So hence I go guilty. Bro, I'll tell you something. Being in that case was, if you've ever been in and out of the legal system most of your life, if you ever get the opportunity to experience what it actually works like, I relish that whole period of time. Yeah. I relish it. And I'm so grateful for it. Because when you see in moments like, this how the law works. This is crazy. Special hearings. This is crazy. I didn't go to the cell.
This is crazy.
You dropped me back home.
This is crazy.
Bro, one time I got nicked for something that had nothing to do with this. I swear on my God, make the Lord lick me with a thunderbolt right now. One time I got nicked for something that had nothing to do with this case during this case time. And then I remember being in the police station. I ain't got a lawyer. Because obviously you're supposed to call your lawyer in. But I'm in the police station for about an hour. My lawyer, who I had, this is what I was grateful for this as well. Because I got to see what real lawyers are like. Yeah. Real lawyers, like, you know, 5 bag a day lawyers. And become their friends and pick their brains and get into it with them and understand what actually makes the shit tick actually. Because up until that point, you've only had fucking, you know, legal aid. So like, I'm in the police station. The lawyer phones the police. They drop me home. The lawyer from the Tulisa case, not on this case that I've been nicked for. They put him on the phone. He said, I'm not representing him, but blah, 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 blah. I don't hear the rest. They said, okay, Kim, we're going to let you go home. Do you want a lift? One time I got stopped in Camden, bro. This is all during this case. I'm seeing the law from this perspective during this period of time. I get stopped in Camden one time with this dickhead Turkish shoot. So I shouldn't say it's not even a racial thing, but it's dickhead Turkish shoot. He's just driving around, mental. Anyway, he's got food on him, but he ain't told no one he's got food on him. We get pulled over. This little dick. The food's there now, and now no one don't know who it is. So anyway, they're talking about everyone's gonna have to come if no one don't own up to who this food is. I'm gonna bust his head open when we get out of this anyway. But like in my head, I'm thinking I'm going to cells today. When I'm talking to the Fed, I say, "Oh, you're that guy. You're the guy on the Tulisa case. The one, the Mahmood guy. He's doing you lot wrong, isn't he?"
Oh, they even know that,
bro. This is during the case.
Okay.
He's like, he's that Mahmood. You're with that Mahmood, isn't it? He's done you a fucking wrong, isn't he? Yeah. Oi. What, Gov? Ah.
Oh, they let you go like that?
Bro, when I was on this case, I saw things that I've never seen before. So this is
feels like a movie,
bro. So I'm putting this into comparison. So when we have, the reason it collapsed is because of this reason. We have one of these hearings. Obviously, in cases like this, you have special hearings. Yeah. So that special hearing, he got caught saying a bunch of shit. The shit that he said during that hearing, come the case, it gets proven fake, not real. But if we don't have that hearing prior to the case, that doesn't happen. So if it was ever like a normal case, it would never have been thrown out. Yeah. So, and because that he gets thrown out as a witness, he's the only witness. And what he got caught saying on the hearing about, it was something to do with it was something to do with a limo driver, David Beckham, and some other shit. It was to do with the David Beckham kidnapping. So something he said there didn't match up to something he said on the main trial. Yeah. So they have to throw him out as a witness. Not because Tulisa's innocent, not because they believe fuck all she said, because they have to throw him out as a witness. So there's no more witnesses. So then
there's no more.
But here's the whammy though. If I go against her, so if I take the bait when she goes against me, that statement I would have made to rebuttal what she said, even to rebuttal it, not even to say it's her, just to say, oh, it's not me, it's her, that would have kept the case in trial. Oh. So she would have still got found guilty if I took the bait when she blamed it on me, and I said, you know, fuck her, let me go against her, she would have still got found guilty of that because there would have been a statement to keep it in play. No one don't know this story, bro.
Okay.
That's the facts of why this broke down.
Okay.
So then on top of that, they're still pushing me under the bus, even though she knows that if I go against her, she gets. So I've already gone guilty. So when I've gone guilty, I'm in my brethren's yard. I'm in Kello's yard. I'm in Kello's house. I'm in Edmond. And do you know the irony, bro? I don't think I've ever said this. I've never said this on camera. And this is exactly how it happened. I'm in my brethren's yard. I'm in Kello's yard. And he used to live in Edmonton on top of the flats. And where his flats are, I can see my mum's grave. Literally, I can look down and see my mum's grave. And I'm literally on the balcony, one in a spliff looking at my mum's grave. And I get a phone call from the barrister, laughing. And they've just dropped the case.
Wow.
And he explained to me why and all the reasons. He's saying, basically, because you didn't go against her, and this was his words, because you didn't go against her, they don't have another statement. They've had to drop it. Case dropped. So I'm the only person in European history, I'm in the Archibald, to have a guilty plea overturned by a judge mid-trial.
How did you feel?
Like a cunt. Like a cunt, because you still don't, like, and after that, she's still throwing you under the bus. Her people are still running this campaign and she's innocent, making you out to be the villain.
So once all this is done, you're out of it. Is there any communication at all? Till now? And
all till now. All when she's going on the jungle, all of this shit. So but again, to be fair with you, bro, it's a life lesson.
Yeah.
You have to take it as a life lesson.
You know what? I want to go back to you now, yeah? I want to go back to you, bro, yeah? Like, I see now that you're doing, you went from music, transition now, and you're doing, comics, yeah? I'm seeing the watches that you're doing as well, bro. Yeah, like, big. Like, talk to me about the transition and why. Why now?
I've never done music as a primary thing anyway, as you know. Music for me is a soundtrack to whatever you're doing. And the fact that people like the soundtrack is cool. But I got to a stage where I remember having this conversation with Spray, big up my brother. I remember having this conversation with Spray. So when you get to about your early 30s, you're looking at it like, what the fuck are we gonna do really? UK raps, who's popping is gonna have money for about a year. Like there's no, what are you doing? So you have to find something to do. And I remember just getting to a stage of where thinking like, I can't do none of this shit, bro. I can't do, and really, if it's really about talent, if it's really about craft, let me reach inside myself and pull out everything. That makes sense? And that's when I started doing all the spoken word and the freestyles.
Yeah.
So when you get all them freestyles where I've got the spoken word at the end of it,
yeah,
that's where that comes from. Because that's me then saying like, yo, man can't fuck with me really. Like, let me stop playing their game. Let me stop involving myself in that race. Let me do what I do. I don't need a fucking beat.
It's like therapy for you, innit?
Let me do what I do. Let me reach inside myself and pull something out. And funny enough, that rejuvenated my music. Because that's where you get all the freestyles.
Yeah.
All the link ups, all the behind bars and all that. And I would never ever phone no one for freestyles. That was the irony. So all those freestyles, all the link ups, all the SBTVs, all them, it literally be, and that's why I always got love for that. I'd love for that genre. It could be a big bro, we need that. So to even have that level of relevance every time you do it, it has to come from an actual artistic place. It can't come from a place of I want to be current still. If it's not there, it's not there. But if it's there, it's there.
It's there, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So when you kind of realize that point, you're like, well, this actually is an internal thing. I just got to keep on reaching in me. I don't give a fuck about external. I really don't. Everything is internal. Making these watches is internal. Doing my comics is internal. Music, internal. That's the journey I'm on. And then afterwards, you find people to sell the shit.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you as well, if your kids, said to you, yo, Pops, I want to follow your journey, man. I want to follow...
Fuck no, my youth studying law. My youth studying law right now, bro.
Yeah.
Fuck no.
Yeah. What would you say?
It would be impossible anyway. Because you couldn't have... Do you know... I mean, one time reading my son's... My baby mother sent me my... some of my teachers wrote about my son as he was going into college in sixth form. And it was just beautiful to read because he's a good kid. He's a smart kid, he's a good kid. And I said to my baby mother, you know, he's me about all the trauma. Because I like to think I'm a good person. I like to think I'm a cool kid, innit? And that's really what it is, innit, bro? And I think that's maybe the difference between, like, you know, people know our backgrounds. I always say to people, when people think about street rappers, I didn't have no fucking gang. I've never been, we are that, we're not that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, you know the content. Yeah. So some of us have been actually genuinely forced to be something. We actually don't want to be.
Yeah.
But it is what it is at this point. And if we know more, how can I ever think you are? Kind of thing, innit? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
More so than I am.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So my son's never going to have to experience that because he's just the best parts of us. Does that make sense? So he's never going to be in this anyway. He doesn't care about none of this shit.
How do you feel? How do you feel as a father? Like, do you feel like?
Yeah, and I love it.
Yeah.
I don't get on my daughter, me and my daughter, but that doesn't work because my daughter was never around me.
Yeah.
And she's got a whole different ethos and understanding of what life is to what my son's experienced. My son has everything but wants nothing. You know, like that. My daughter has nothing but wants everything.
Do they know who their dad is?
No, they do. My son thinks it's funny. No, my son is actually, he's the best kid you can have, bro. Yeah. He's very aware of who his dad is. Yeah. Very, very aware. Yeah. Like to the point where my son's the kind of, he's done this. Like, please don't do that because I don't want my dad coming down here.
Yeah, okay. What are you saying? He uses those ones. No, please, please
don't. I don't want my dad coming down. No, honestly, because please. But he genuinely means it.
Yeah. Like, please.
Like, no, don't.
My dad's a maniac. Please, like, just leave it. Yeah.
Like, he genuinely understands. He's genuinely a good kid, bro.
Yeah,
he's a good kid. I'm glad that he took the best parts of man.
No, I love that, bro. And also as well, yeah. This is something that I wanted to also ask you as well, because like I said, me and you, we have these conversations, bro, and I get to see a different side of you, man. And I don't know if I asked it before, but I'm going to ask it again, yeah? But do you feel like the industry gives you enough credit for what you've done?
You asked me out there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It used to piss me off a lot. I'll be honest with you, and I said that to you before, and I say it to people all the time. I think a lot of the years where you got like just straight up ignorant Mike, was just that. And again, like, especially when you know your come up isn't the same, you know, because people will have an opinion, like, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't. But then you think, but you didn't, you didn't do my come up, bro. Yeah. Like, it's only me did my come up. And I say it humbly, but if you really was there at the very conception, you really was one of the, not one of the group of pioneers. One of the conceptions, one of the pillar stones physically, right, that's how you can sound with a British accent. That's mad. Because up until that point, there wasn't a better British sounding accent than mine. We knew who had good British sounding accents. There was maybe 3 of us in the whole fucking country. Big up Pilo. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So when you know that you actually had a conception of something and you see your years go by like, rah, that's mad. So everyone forgot about all the models too. Everyone forgot about the infrastructure we laid in place. Everyone forgot about like, after the fucking record exec.
Do you think it made you? Because I know I've heard those type of
and to add it, sorry to even add it, and then some of the people that you brought in, knowing full well that they're backballing you and backbiting you behind closed doors, because they frankly don't want you around, bro. That's a truth. There's people in certain seats in this business now who you brought into the business, and they've been behind closed doors saying "fuck my man" for years. These are facts. These ain't conspiracy theories. These are facts. I could name names and I could go through the whole corridor of record labels if you want. I used to get the phone call saying, Mike, I got a guy here. They wanted to nominate you for a mobile, but they're saying you kidnapped some gal. Yeah. I'm in the room now. Westwood just said you sold to X, Y, and Z, but then 2 other people in the room said, da. This is your career. This is my career. You know that your ideology of gangster shit ain't respected. What they needed the ones with the whites in their mouth on the estate. Yeah. They need the white in the mouth on the estate with some flags. Little ones that they can say, yo, they don't want the real thing. They don't want the ones who know what the fuck they're doing. They've already got their own 200-300. They just want to do some business. They don't want those lot. They don't want the street dreams. They don't want Cobra in them. Already got the office in West End. We got more money than you and all that. They don't want us. They need them.
You know what, bro? I want to go into some fun questions, yeah? Some fun and unique questions, bro, yeah? If we could go back to the CD era and you had one last chance to hand out a mixtape in central London, where's the first spot you're posting up?
JD's.
Yeah.
Yo, we made, you know what the route was? They used to be out. I remember one time, man, right before we said, yo, Mike, they're on the whole fucking street, bro. Bro, it got to the point, yeah. There used to be a Fed, big up Donny.
Yeah.
There was a Fed, yeah. I remember one night he pulled up the vans, because they would nick them. And I'd have conversations with the Fed like, bro, nicking them makes no sense. They're going to be out there tomorrow and we're going to nick them for CDs again. Yeah. Because there was no law, the law was grey as well. They weren't bootlegs. Okay. So they didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Because there was no bootlegs. And what not people don't know, I had a whole system for bootlegs, bro. A whole system. See, Mike GLC sold enough, but they made all their real money for everything else. So imagine there was a black bag full of blank CDs. There was a brochure with hundreds of CDs. And you have to go in the brochure and pick it. But it was blank in the bag. We never got nicked.
Yo, the whole operation. This is some mafia CD shit.
So like, bro, I watched the Chinese. I don't think people realize what happened. No, I saw this one. Bro, when we got famous, I thought to myself, what are you lot doing? Yeah. Cause I went to Nottingham after when You Channel came out. Now we're famous, isn't it? I've gone nuts, Gala chasing, man. That I'm thinking, and a lot of people don't want to admit it, bro. You know this, and I know this. You know, a lot of people are scared.
Yeah.
Let's stop pretending a lot of artists weren't getting scared at that time.
Yeah.
Now they're famous. No one understood what was going on. You know and I know.
Yeah. Facts.
Yeah?
Facts.
A lot of people were scared.
Yeah. Facts.
They're famous now. They ain't got no money. Some of your favorite artists, let's not say any names. But anyway. So my whole thing was proving, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
We're famous. I want to be outside and make some money out of this because it might not come back. So I don't know what long-term plan you lot have for this music thing. But I need to make the money now. So that's what it was, bro.
If you could collaborate with any artist today, UK or international, who would it be and why? I know this is a hard question, Carl.
UK or international?
UK or international.
AR-AB.
Ooh, okay.
AR.
AR, yeah. And why?
Yeah. It's the only nigga I listen to, number one. Number two, I think like hip-hop's ignorant music, yeah? And rappers talk shit. And I like listening to AR because AR actually makes you know this is where you're going if you actually live this way. But I actually live this way. And I'm here, and he's where he is now. I speak to his brother, big up Meat Moss. And it's the truth of the music and what he's saying. And I'd like to get a verse of him because it'd be a truthful song because I'm not going to stand and we're gonna, yeah.
It's going to be very real, bro. I know this.
Yeah.
Imagine it's a Mike GLC comic book, yeah? What's the storyline and what kind of superhero would you be?
No, I wouldn't. I'd be anti-hero, number one.
Anti-hero?
Yeah, I'd definitely be anti-hero.
Yeah.
Like, I know comic traits. I write comics. And I know, 4-act structure, 3-act structure. I get it all. So I'd definitely be an anti-hero. And I would probably be, and there are characters I've got in some of my books that aren't too loosely based around man.
Okay.
And I'd probably be the type of anti-hero where there'd be an area that everyone lived in peacefully. And all the kids could go to school and they'd have a great time. But anyone that violated that code would be dead.
Yeah, I like that still.
Basically.
That sounds all right. Everyone likes that, innit? Round of applause for that one.
You know what I'm saying? Kind of like a king, the kingpin kind of, but...
Yeah. Okay. If you had to describe your entire journey in music, setbacks, new ventures in one movie title, what would it be?
GLC Arts.
GLC what?
Arts.
Okay.
Life is art.
Yeah, all right. You know how I know? I could tell you already thought about this back in the day.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
No, but on top of that, you got to realize, and I say we haven't got into it today, but I love philosophy.
Yeah.
I love philosophy, so it's kind of all there.
What's one thing people still get wrong about Mike GLC that you want to?
He's angry.
I agree.
I get why.
I think people think you're so.
I get why.
Of course you can.
I get why.
But I'm saying that I feel like a lot of people, that's definitely one of those ones that I've always felt like, and I said this to you before, I'm like, bro, they don't see the other side.
I get why though. And it's not something to be mad at. At the end of the day, in life they say there's 85% of people will kind of, and there's 10% that know what's going on. that use it to manipulate, and there's 5% that don't want to manipulate anybody. If you happen to have an understanding of what the fuck's going on, if you happen to have some kind of grasp on life, you actually start to realize it's gratitude.
Yeah.
And that annoyance that you have is inevitable. Because if you didn't have that kind of grasp on life, it wouldn't annoy you. You know, there's a saying, Marcus Aurelius has got a saying where, you know, today you're going to wake up and you're going to face all these things and you're going to tell yourself that this person's going to do that. And that's kind of it, bro.
Yeah.
And you learn to blame yourself if these things make you angry rather than otherwise. That's why I would say to people, if I put up a video on Instagram, hence why, you know, so I try, the things that I say are offensive enough, so I don't need to be more offensive. That's what I'm trying to stick to. The things that I'm saying are going to jerk enough. Let me try to not put too much emotions in this. So even when you see me make a video, I've probably done it twice. The first version probably said, you lot are dicks. But the second version says, no, you can't say that.
Yeah.
But like, so then after a while, you just realize if you believe that you see things a certain way, if you believe that whatever you think is valid, then it's your responsibility, not theirs.
Nah, I hear it, man. And what's next for you, my brother? What's next for you, man?
That's a long one. In the sense of like, I could sit here and say...
a nice summary, I know you're doing a...
No, that's what I'm saying. I could say watches, I could say comics, I could say film, I could say clothing, I could say maybe more music. I actually make more money off my music now than I did at my peak.
Yeah.
I could say a bunch of things, but really, I just want to be a creative. So right now, really, it's just finding pipeline for that creativity. So as well as, because, you know, you could say project-wise, but it's not going to stop. In the sense of I've got artwork to do, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm grateful that gratitude is where I'm at right now. And now it's to find the right people to work with as far as output. So that's kind of where I'm just output. And however the cards drop is how they drop. And lucky, if God gives you talents to crack on, lucky enough when I open up my mouth and rap 2 bars, people still like it a bit.
Yeah, they do, bro. They do, man. And listen, brother, this is our closing question that we like to ask everybody. We're celebrating your legacy today. So what's one thing you want people to remember about your contribution to music, culture?
I cared. I actually gave a fuck. And a lot of what I put in play is because I gave a fuck. I had dreams of seeing this thing where it was. I actually did. I had dreams of UK rap being what it is today. I actually did. I give a fuck about the state of our culture, of where our people are, how we see things. I need the coonery to come to an end, but that's a whole different that's a whole different hustle. So a lot of the things that you see me going on about is this general coonery that I believed is in play. That's a whole nother conversation about systems but we need to want less, I think, as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Stop being so immediate, and then we could maybe long term start to actually build, to learn that we actually need to fucking heal. We actually need to start again. We actually, as black people, need to learn more. So I want a lot for my people, learning wise. That's where I'm at. That makes sense. There's nothing else left to do.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, so imagine 10 years from now, we're going to be doing workshops eventually. So when you see me doing the art stuff, the tutorials, eventually I'm going to be moving on to like workshops, getting young artists in, employing young artists, that's the whole next wave of my life is what you see me do with the CDs. Yeah. I want to do that on steroids now.
Come on, man. Come on, bro. Listen, bro, honestly, man, Mike, it's been a pleasure, my brother.
Yes.
Just before, you know, we close this, we do this with all our guests because, you know, we're here to celebrate their legacy. We got a little present for you, my bro. Cause, you know, we know the man them like kicks. So, you know, courtesy of El Vardy, we got you a little something.
Bro,
you know
this is the shit, you know. Listen, this guy here, bro.
Come on, brother.
I've been trying to get some shit done like this. Yeah. Now. But I want to do the hand bespoke, but this guy, we're gonna link up, bro. Because this is the shit.
Yeah. Listen, it's all there for you, bro. But before you go, bro, I just wanted to say once again from the celebration team, my bro, we really appreciate everything that you've done, my bro. You're a pioneer in this thing. And honestly, bro, like your work has not gone unnoticed, my brother. And we just wanted to just say thank you, my bro.
Humble. Yeah. No, it's good. And again, let me just give you your flowers quick before I get out of it.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Brother, Knowing you since you was a kid coming into this thing.
Yeah.
You grafted, you didn't, you had balls when others didn't to be yourself. You get me? And you brought that type of comedy. You know first, this was the first. All the new wave of social medias and all the skits and all that, this is the pioneer.
Thank you, my brother.
And the fact you're here, and even when I first saw you, do the films and that, I'm thinking he's learned how to take what he done on that scale, and market. What's the word? Size up. Take it to the big screen.
Yeah. Scale up.
And I watched you do it, bro. And that's why when you phoned me to come here, I'm like, this is the only podcast I've done apart from my brother. Big up RTM, big up Spray.
Shout out to Spray, man.
This is the only podcast I'm gonna do bar that. So
love my brother, bro. Pleasure, my bro. Yeah, thank you very much, my G, man. Come on, man. Mike GLC, celebration chair. You already know what it is, man. Listen, man, we're gonna see you on the other side. Shabba the Naya. Shabba!